Yo, what is up, my fellow virgins? Today we about to react to the fighting business as always. You feel what I'm saying? Yo, fuck what I'm talking about. Last night was fucking crazy. Yo, Colby Covington, his bum ass lost. Tony lost. Stephen Thompson, that was crazy. That whole day was just crazy. I ain't even gonna lie. But Colby Covington is a bum. He finally lost. But we about to react to the fighting business. He waited 651 days for this bullshit. But let me shut the fuck up.
Someone like that gets stuff added to them so easily all the time that he feels like he can do that, you know, so... Put you in a coffin, bitch! After beating him, I truly believe it's either...
That nigga put him in a coffin. Fuck is he talking about?
Retire or move down, probably.
Colby has now fought in over 600 days. The controversial welterweight was last seen in the octagon in March of 2022, and after winning a dominant decision against his former friend Jorge Masvidal, Covington disappeared for damn close to 2 years.
On my side, I've been ready since day one, since the George fight. I accepted every fight that's been offered my way.
And now he is headlining the last pay-per-view of 2023 for the welterweight championship, by the way.
I'm bringing you to 7th layer hell. We'll say what's up to your dad while we're there.
Yo, that shit, when he said that shit, yo, on some real rap, that shit out of chocolate, bro. I ain't fucking with it. I ain't jacking it. I ain't rocking with it. Same thing with, dude, Strickland, whatever his fucking name is, the bullfighting Strickland, when he said about his pop. Like, what's up with these fighters talking about niggas' dads, bro? Shit getting bad.
Despite guys like Shafkat and the other guy around.
I can't get a call out? Come on, Joe.
Who do you want to call out, bro?
Come on, man. I just want to fight, dude.
I know what you're thinking.
The biggest joke in UFC. Don't be fucking with Bilal Muhammad right now.
What kind of dirt does he have on Dana White? But this, coming off the sidelines and directly into the title fight, has happened time and time again in the UFC. It's an exception, not the general rule, and usually reserved for special athletes or circumstances. Sometimes justified, sometimes not. Sometimes it takes a little time for you to come to terms with the decision. But then there are instances where the announcement just boggles the mind. Colby fits the last one, to be honest, but more on that later. For now, we start with Colby's best friend. When you get the opportunity to fight the champion, everything from preparation to timing has to be meticulously planned.
Yo, I ain't even gonna lie. Fighting business, every time I watch the vids, bro, I be getting copyright like crazy, bro. I don't know what you do.
The best training partners are brought
But this Patreon shit, I understand where you're coming from, bro.
in. The perfect training regime is developed, and the challenger is usually back inside the octagon in a couple of months because too much waiting on the sidelines and ring rust is going to slow you down. But when you are a superstar or an incredibly accomplished athlete, you can afford to wait around. Jorge Masvidal, the only relevant star in 2020 and 2021, was the short-notice replacement at UFC 251.
There are active negotiations between the UFC, Jorge Masvidal, and Kamaru Usman to make the Masvidal-Usman fight.
And while it was a clear decision victory for Usman, Masvidal wanted a rematch, certain of victory if he was given a full training camp.
I'm gonna get on the winning track and fight him with a full camp, 7-8 weeks to prepare for him and make the weight cut smooth. I know after going with him now 5 rounds, I know what it takes to beat him, and I could beat him.
Usman went on to defend against Gilbert Burns, while Masvidal waited for close to a year. UFC 261, the first event to host fans, needed a big headliner, and Gamebred got what he wanted, another title shot against Usman.
I'm baptized this individual with some holy fists. You guys know what I bring to the table. I'm gonna knock this out.
Masvidal was knocked out in the second round, and the company received heavy criticism for granting Masvidal a title shot. But looking at the numbers, UFC 261 was a success, and that is what the UFC wanted. Money often paves the way for certain superstars. On the other hand, champions who have never lost their titles in competition are often fast-tracked towards gold when victory is all they need to remind them all. TJ Dillashaw had to vacate his bantamweight title due to a failed drug test. He sort of defeated Corey Sandhagen in his return bout.
It was a tough fight though, you know? Pushed the pace, and I want to make sure everyone knew that I saw that cardio.
And then remained on the sidelines for more than a year, nursing injuries and getting back into shape. New contenders made a case for themselves, but TJ's path back was secured, and he ended up facing Sterling at UFC 280 with one fucking shoulder. Yeah, I'm still salty about it. Interestingly, TJ's contemporary Dominic Cruz followed a similar path, Cruz did not fail a drug test, but he was stripped of the title due to a string of bad injuries and inactivity. UFC had no choice but to get the title off the Dominator.
You know, for Dominick Cruz, it's been a rough road the last 2 years, and that's taken nothing away from his ability in the octagon. But I think he did the admirable thing and said, hey, I'm going to vacate the title.
The former champion made his return after close to 3 years, knocking out Mizugaki in the first round. A fitting return for the bantamweight GOAT, but then he tore the ACL in his other knee.
I'm at the 9-month mark of my second ACL reconstruction, feeling great, and I'm looking to be back.
Close to another 500 days of inactivity, and Cruz finally fought for the title he never lost against TJ Dillashaw. He ended up winning, and the fan base could not help but appreciate this glorious return.
You got it. Can you put it into words?
It's a surreal moment, Ariel. It is. Like, I knew I had the capabilities. It was a matter of going out there, letting my instincts take over and execute.
Opening a quick route for champions who never lost their titles is a matter of principle. To be the man, you gotta beat the man and all that, but now we venture into a different territory altogether. Folks who had a massive list of accolades, but you have to stop and think, does he really deserve this? When Stipe Miocic was knocked out in the rematch by Francis Ngannou, no one really knew what was in his future.
Honestly, at 38 years old, we don't know if we'll ever see Stipe Miocic again. I hope that he's not one of those guys that we appreciate when he's gone if he doesn't fight again.
He was given an immediate rematch after the first DC loss, but no way the UFC was going to offer him yet another immediate opportunity at the title, right? The heavyweight division remained in turmoil for the next few years, with Francis Ngannou eventually leaving the company and the title being rendered vacant. There were lots of compelling matchups, but Stipe did not fight a single time and sat out for close to 1,000 days. God damn. He waited and waited and waited some more for the stars to align. And in the end, Jon Jones became the heavyweight champion and handpicked Miocic for his first and last title defense.
Y'all want to see me beat him, Stipe?
His GOAT versus heavyweight GOAT encounter was set to headline MSG at UFC 295. The matchup never happened, as Jones withdrew with a shoulder injury.
Sorry to Stipe and his team. I guess it will be Stipe and I at a later date.
But the company has not given up on the idea just yet.
You'll get your shot. Just wait. This fight has to happen, and then we'll figure out what's next for you.
While we're on the subject of Jon Jones, the current heavyweight champion and arguably the best of all time has fought a handful of times in the past several years. When he was terrorizing the 205-pound division, we all thought that this dude would end up with a record of something insane like 40-1. But his personal troubles sidelines him from active competition time and time again. And then USADA came knocking on his door.
Jon Jones, greatest fighter of all time. USADA issues, picograms. That's just a coincidence. It's too much of a coincidence for me.
After somewhat sorting out his personal life and dealing with USADA and magical pictograms, Jones gave up the light heavyweight title after a disputed victory over Dominic Reyes, declaring that he was done at 205. Jones was looking to move up to the heavyweight division as he had promised a damn decade ago. All he wanted was a bigger and better contract from the UFC. But Dana White, at least initially, wasn't having any of it.
Do you want to fight soon? No, I don't want to fight soon. I don't want to fight soon. I have no interest in fighting in the UFC until I get paid what I believe I'm worth.
This contract dispute cost Jones another 3 years of his prime, and when the heavyweight division was brought down the shit, with Francis Ngannou gone and no credible contenders in sight, Jon Jones made his return at UFC 285 against Cyril Gane. And you know how it went. 3 years away, and he finished the #1 ranked contender in 2 minutes. Like him or not, that's GOAT shit right there. As a somewhat contrasting example, here is GSP. The undisputed welterweight GOAT went on a hiatus after a disputed decision victory over Johnny Hendricks.
I have so much stress, so much stuff going on in my life. Just need to think and you know what I mean, see what's gonna happen, you know.
3 years later, and GSP came back, sights set on the middleweight title. The champion at that time was Michael Bisping, and unlike Jones in the Baron heavyweight division, there was an undisputed, uncontested #1 contender, Yoel Romero. But Yoel Romero was no superstar. Dana White said he would take care of Romero, and that was the end of that. GSP versus Bisping headlined UFC 217, and much like Jones, GSP won his return fight.
George St. Pierre has done it!
It wasn't a flawless performance, but after 3.5 years, the former welterweight champion outstruck and finished a bigger fighter, becoming double champion.
I'm 100%. Who's next? Goddamn, I want to fight him. No, I'm kidding.
You have to be really fucking special to come back after more than 3 years and win a title fight in the division above you. I know people were not happy early on, but look at the results. Look at them. not much you can say, yeah? So, we've gone through superstars with a massive negotiating edge, undisputed champions who've never lost a belt, fighters with tremendous prior success, and two of the greatest combatants of all time. Now, UFC 296 is right around the corner, and the last question left, why Colby Covington? Colby is not as popular as Masvidal. He was not the undisputed, undefeated champion like Cruz or TJ. He is definitely nowhere near as accomplished as GSP and Jones, and that leaves us with just one plausible explanation. He might be flirting with Dana White more than I thought. Nah, I'm kidding. We'll be grappling with this question for a long time. Colby has not fought in over 600 days.
About to shake up all the feathers today.
He does not have a single ranked win over the current top 15 contenders.
You didn't even graduate elementary school. What the f*** you doing? You're a idiot. Literally, what's your level of education? I'd love to know.
And while he is popular, he is definitely not a big-time pay-per-view draw, someone you can make exceptions for. Having said all of that, Colby wins at UFC 296, and none of us will give a shit. That's just how it goes, yeah? Maybe that's why it keeps happening.
That's why that nigga didn't win. That nigga lost everything. Donald Trump left the building and was like, that nigga's a bitch. So pretty much, you know, America really won.